seems that Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez already have some relationship haters. $37 million divorce.
Billion, honey. Put some respect on that.
You and your fiance, Jeff Bezos.
Who? Imagine this. A $5 million wedding in Venice, Italy, dripping with opulence, champagne flowing, helicopters buzzing overhead, and A-list celebrities toasting the couple of the hour.
It goes on and on about this woman who, let's face it, this relationship began in an extramarital affair. They're both cheating on their spouses, but now they're getting the Vogue treatment to where we're supposed to believe it's the grand love affair. And they point out about how out on the yacht, she's wearing her crop top, partying with Leonardo DiCaprio and Queen Rania of Jordan. And when questioned about how this isn't very green of them to have the yacht everywhere and the private jets, Sanchez is undaunted.
The world watched Jeff Bezos, the billionaire mastermind behind Amazon, and Lauren Sanchez, the glamorous media personality, seal their love story with a kiss on the Amalfi Coast.
We mentioned Lauren Sanchez. She posted, she didn't post, she was in the tabloids for this picture of Jeff Bezos smacking her thong-wearing bottom on their yacht. This is, I submit to you, a total setup.
It was the fairy tale of the century, a billionaire romance splashed across every tabloid and social media feed.
It's a very challenging thing to try and estimate. So I think you just have to try and be reasonable about it, take as much risk off the table as you can for yourself. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
But what if I told you that behind the diamond-studded veil, this wasn't a love story at all? What if it was a meticulously planned power play, a chess game with stakes higher than anyone could imagine? Welcome to the unraveling of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's relationship, a saga of betrayal, lawsuits, and a $5 billion bombshell that could destroy everything they've built. Buckle up, because this story is about to take you on a wild ride.
Well, look at what she's done and how she's led her life.
And, it's a $10 billion commitment, and it's really, supporting
the glamorous facade. Let's set the scene. It's August 2023, and the world is buzzing about Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's engagement. The proposal happened on a yacht so luxurious it could double as a floating palace, surrounded by the likes of Kris Jenner, Bill Gates, and Oprah Winfrey.
Lauren Sanchez's, one of her former friends, does not think that Jeff Bezos should propose to her because she thinks that he would be a fool because Lauren Sanchez has had some very turbulent love relationships.
Right, bitch, but that's why he likes her.
Right. Well, I know, but so here's the thing. She's been proposed to, or she's been engaged 4 times.
That means she got that good.
Yes.
The ring? A diamond so massive it could probably be seen from space. The media ate it up, calling it the ultimate billionaire love story. Lauren Sanchez, a former news anchor turned media mogul, was living the dream. She'd gone from reporting the news to being the news, arm in arm with one of the richest men on the planet. But let's rewind.
I do in front of famous friends after celebrating their 2023 proposal on a yacht with Kris Jenner and Bill Gates, and then again at an intimate soiree with Oprah and Rob Pattinson.
No, but wish them both well. They both released statements about the end of their marriage. Yes. They're both very kind and gracious to one another. And I think divorce, no matter what the circumstances, I think are always very painful. So the fact that they can walk away, and really only the two of them really know. All this chatter, all of these people don't know really.
This wasn't a storybook romance from the start. Jeff and Lauren's relationship began in the shadows, born out of an extramarital affair that rocked both of their previous marriages. Jeff's divorce from Mackenzie Scott cost him a staggering $35 billion, one of the most expensive settlements in history. Lauren, too, left her marriage to Hollywood agent Patrick Whitesell, weathering a storm of tabloid headlines and public scrutiny. Yet, despite the scandal, they emerged as a power couple, determined to rewrite their narrative. Vogue spreads, red carpet appearances, and yacht parties with Leonardo DiCaprio and Queen Rania of Jordan painted a picture of untouchable glamour. But behind every perfect Instagram post, cracks were already forming.
Well, look at what she's done and how she's led her life.
So, you think this divorce settlement is fair?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. A marriage is a partnership. Bezos spent 25 years helping her husband grow his business and grow his swagger. I mean, look at that. He went from pleated pants salesman to jacked up arms dealer, am I right? Yeah, it's totally fair. Look, but that chapter is now closed, okay? It's over now, and this next phase is crucial.
The Venice wedding that broke the internet. Fast forward to the wedding. Venice, 2025. The city of canals transformed into a billionaire's playground. The ceremony was a spectacle. $5 million worth of flowers, custom designer gowns, and a guest list that read like a Forbes 400 roster. Paparazzi swarmed, capturing every moment. Lauren's radiant smile, Jeff's cool confidence, the clinking of champagne glasses against the backdrop of the Grand Canal. Social media exploded with hashtags like Bezos wedding and hashtag $billion love trending worldwide. The world was obsessed. But here's where things get interesting. While the public gushed over the romance, Jeff Bezos was already making moves behind the scenes. According to a confidential source close to the couple, the wedding wasn't just a celebration. It was a carefully orchestrated stage. Jeff's legal team was on high alert. NDAs were being signed left and right, and private meetings were happening in the shadows of the Venetian villas. Why? Because Jeff Bezos, the man who built Amazon into an empire, doesn't leave anything to chance. And he certainly wasn't about to let love blind him to risk. The prenup that changed everything. Let's talk about the prenup. If you think billionaires get married without ironclad legal protection, think again. Jeff Bezos, burned by his $35 billion divorce from McKinsey, wasn't taking any chances this time. The prenup he crafted for Lauren was a masterpiece of legal engineering, cold, clinical, and designed to protect every corner of his $200 billion empire. It wasn't just about money, it was about control, image, and legacy. Every detail of their public and private lives was accounted for, down to the smallest clause. But here's the kicker. Lauren didn't fully grasp what she was signing. She saw the prenup as a formality, a necessary step to secure her place in Jeff's world. She thought she was marrying into ultimate security, a $10 billion commitment, as she called it in private conversations. But Jeff saw it differently. To him, Lauren wasn't just a partner. She was a variable, a potential risk to his carefully constructed empire. And when that variable started to wobble, he didn't hesitate to act. The first cracks. The trouble started before the wedding vows were even exchanged. According to our source, Lauren was pushing hard to leverage her new status as Mrs. Bezos. She was pitching media deals, approving glossy photo shoots, and negotiating brand partnerships like her life depended on it. To her, this was her moment to shine, to step out of Jeff's shadow and build her own empire. But Jeff saw it differently. To him, every move she made was a potential threat to his brand. He wasn't just marrying Lauren Sanchez, he was marrying her ambition, her connections, and her past. And that past was about to come back to haunt them. 2 days after the wedding, the fairy tale began to crumble. The media had moved on to the next big story, but behind the gates of Jeff's sprawling estate, the mood was anything but celebratory. A heated argument erupted over a solo interview Lauren wanted to do with a major outlet. She saw it as a chance to tell her side of the story, to cement her place as a power player. But Jeff shut it down, calling it too thirsty and poorly timed. Lauren didn't back down. She accused him of trying to control her, of reducing her to a trophy wife. The room went silent when Jeff delivered a line that cut like a knife. "You married me, not the brand." That moment marked a turning point. This wasn't just a lover's spat, it was a power struggle. Lauren wanted independence under the Bezos name. Jeff demanded loyalty, structure, and silence. Their visions weren't just different, they were irreconcilable. And when Jeff Bezos senses a threat, he doesn't negotiate. he acts. The ghost of scandals past. To understand what pushed Jeff over the edge, we need to go back to 2019. That was the year the National Enquirer dropped a bombshell, leaked text messages between Jeff and Lauren, exposing their affair while both were still married. The scandal nearly derailed Jeff's reputation, and he pointed the finger at one person, Michael Sanchez, Lauren's brother. Michael, a former confidant, was accused of leaking those texts to the tabloids, a betrayal that cost Jeff dearly in public perception. Jeff made it clear then that anyone involved in that scandal was persona non grata, no second chances. So when Jeff discovered that Lauren had been in secret contact with Michael in the months leading up to the wedding, it was like pouring gasoline on a fire. Our source says the communications were innocuous. Family matters, nothing more. But to Jeff, intent didn't matter. The fact that Lauren had reopened that door, even slightly, was a direct violation of his trust. And, more importantly, a breach of the prenup's confidentiality clause. In Jeff's world, there's no room for gray areas. You're either with him or against him. And Lauren had just crossed the line. The $5 billion lawsuit. This brings us to the bombshell that's rocking their world as we speak. A $5 billion lawsuit filed by Jeff Bezos against Lauren Sanchez. This isn't a rumor or a threat. It's real, and it's already in motion. According to our insider, Jeff's legal team, a specialized unit known for handling high-profile takedowns, has been working around the clock. The lawsuit isn't about money. Jeff doesn't need another $5 billion. It's about sending a message. You don't mess with the Bezos empire. The $5 billion figure isn't random. It represents a combination of brand value damage, breach of prenup conditions, and what Jeff believes is a betrayal that could jeopardize his entire legacy. The paperwork is sealed, handled with government-level discretion, but if it ever goes public, it won't just take down Lauren, it'll torch everything she's attached to, her media deals, her partnerships, her carefully curated image, all gone in a flash. Jeff's not just suing, he's preparing to erase her from his narrative. But what pushed him to this point? It wasn't just Michael Sanchez. It was a pattern. Lauren's relentless push for media exposure, her refusal to play by Jeff's rules, and her underestimation of his ruthlessness all added up. She thought she could navigate his world on her terms. She thought she could outsmart the man who built Amazon. She was wrong.
Lauren's desperate plea. When Lauren learned about the lawsuit, she didn't call her lawyer or draft a press release. She went straight to Jeff, one-on-one in his private office. No PR team, no advisors, just her, pleading with the man she thought she'd spend her life with. "You're going to ruin me," she told him, voice trembling. "You're going to ruin both of us." She wasn't wrong. A public lawsuit of this magnitude would be a media firestorm, dragging their names through the mud and unraveling their carefully crafted image. But Jeff wasn't swayed. According to our source, he listened silently as she begged, letting her pour her heart out. Then he delivered a line that stopped her cold. "This isn't about us anymore. This is about principle." Translation, the deal was done. The legal machine was already in motion, and no amount of tears or promises could stop it. Lauren left that room shaken, not just by the end of their marriage, but by the realization that Jeff was willing to destroy her to protect his legacy.
While Lauren scrambled to salvage her future, Jeff was already several steps ahead. His estate was on lockdown, with advisors working in silence to shift assets, restructure trusts, and pull names off documents. This wasn't chaos, it was a calculated purge. Jeff's rapid response legal and media unit wasn't just preparing to spin the story, they were ready to bury it, or, if necessary, launch Jeff's version first. He wasn't just holding legal evidence, he had personal proof, Texts, voicemails, photos, communications Lauren never expected to see the light of day. If she tried to play the victim or go public first, he'd detonate her narrative with receipts. Lauren, meanwhile, was in crisis mode. She reached out to 2 top PR firms hoping to humanize her story before the lawsuit leaked, but she was fighting a losing battle. Jeff wasn't just a billionaire, he was a strategist, a man who'd built an empire by anticipating every move. And Lauren? She was a variable he'd already accounted for. The public's blind spot. Here's the thing. The world still sees Jeff and Lauren as the ultimate power couple. The tabloids are still gushing over their wedding photos, the yacht parties, the glamorous life. But behind the scenes, it's a different story. This isn't a celebrity scandal. It's a calculated takedown. Jeff Bezos isn't driven by heartbreak or jealousy. He's driven by control, by legacy, by the need to protect what he's built. He didn't become one of the richest men in the world by letting emotions cloud his judgment. And when Lauren became a risk, whether through betrayal, ego, or carelessness, he flipped the switch. The public doesn't see the NDAs, the legal teams, the quiet phone calls in the middle of the night. They don't see the war room where Jeff's advisors are plotting their next move. They don't see Lauren's desperate calls to PR firms begging for a way to spin this before it explodes. All they see is the fairy tale. But fairy tales don't last when you're up against Jeff Bezos. So what happens next? The lawsuit is sealed for now, but nothing stays secret forever. If it goes public, it'll be the story of the decade. A billionaire's revenge, a love story turned nightmare, a $5 billion battle that could redefine both their legacies. Lauren's fighting to save her image, but she's up against a man who doesn't lose. Jeff's not just protecting his money, he's protecting his story, his empire, his place in history. And when Jeff Bezos writes you out of his story, you don't get a second chapter. But there's a bigger question here. Was Lauren ever really in control? Did she walk into this marriage thinking she could play the game on Jeff's level, only to realize too late that he was always 10 steps ahead? Or was this always part of Jeff's plan? A calculated move to let her shine, let her dream, and then pull the rug out when she least expected it? One thing's for sure, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a war that will shake the billionaire world to its core.
What do you think? Was Lauren Sanchez blindsided by Jeff Bezos' ruthlessness? Or did she bring this on herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get this conversation started. If you want to stay updated on this unfolding drama, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. This is a story of love, betrayal, and power, and it's far from over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.